I'd like to welcome each one here to our meeting December the 2nd at 6 p.m. held here in the Township Council chambers. I'd like to begin our meeting by acknowledging the land which we gather is the land of the Nishnawbe, Ottawa, and Mississauga peoples. Confirmation of the agenda that the Council Township of North Huron hereby approves the agenda for the December 2nd, 2024 council meeting as presented. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, seconder. Councillor McBurney, all in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interests and the general nature thereof. Seeing none. Consent agenda that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby adopts consent items 4.1.1 to 4.1.3, and further that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives consent items 4.1.4 to 4.3.4. For information purposes, may I have a mover? Councillor Van Hitterson, Councillor Wright. Would anybody like to pull anything? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Could you pull 4.3.1? Yeah, I'd just like us to send a letter of congratulations to Warden Heffer. 431, sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
So provided the mover and seconder are fine with it, your first motion would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby adopts consent items 4.1.1 to 4.1.3, and further that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives consent items 4.1.4 to 4.3.3, exclusive of 4.3.3 for information purposes.
All in favor? Carried.
So then your second motion is that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby directs staff to send a letter of congratulations for agenda item 4.3.3.
We have Councillor Palmer, Councillor McBurney, all in favor? Carried. Public meetings, hearings, and delegations. I'd like to bring before you at this time staff awards presentation. We have first of all the 5-year people that have been with us and they come to their milestone in 2024, and they are Valerie Lamont. She's part-time basis as a children's administration assistant. Christina Hendricks and Tiffany Van Camp, they're both early childhood educators. And Brandy Hutton for a daycare and work, early childhood educator supervisor. And she's been here for 15 years. And again, we like to bring mention of these ones that work down there at the daycare. I know I heard recently from a doctor that really appreciate the work that they did with her kids, and she is able to continue on her practicing, and how well she wouldn't know where she'd be without having the daycare so close to home. It's really good hearing that, and it's just great that we have the daycare place, let alone the workers. We're very fortunate there. And also like to congratulate Carson Lamb. He's our interim CAO, Director of Legislative Services / clerk, and he's been with us for 5 years. Congratulations to you, Carson. So I think we can show our appreciation to all of them at this time. At this time now, we're going to our virtual delegations. We have Kayla Weber and Irish Coke, and Adrian Pang from Environmental Science Group at the Royal Military College of Canada Groundwater Sampling Research Project. At this time, we'll turn it over to Kayla and Iris.
All right. Can you see me?
Yes.
And you can hear me. Excellent.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us. So unfortunately, Kayla is not able to join us. He has been hit by a bug of some sort. So unfortunately, illness prevents him from joining us. So I have a presentation. Is it okay if I just go ahead and start that?
Yes, you may go ahead and it will be, you're given 10 minutes. If that works out good for you, it works out
Yep.
good at this end. Thank you.
Should be great. Okay, so. All right, can everyone see that white screen with some words on it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, oh, wait, that's the wrong, sorry, that's the wrong, that. Sorry about that. All right. Yes, because all our names are on here. So, yes, thank you for having us. My name is Iris Coach, and I am an adjunct professor at Royal Military College in the Environmental Sciences group, and Adrian Pang, who's with us as well. He's a research associate in the group. And Kayla, who sends his regrets, is the director of the group, and he's a professor at RMC. And what I want to tell you about today is this project that we're working on, and the title of it is shown here, Technology to Remediate Per- and Polyfluoroalkyl Substances, PFAS, Impacted Groundwater. So the main purpose of this presentation to you is to make a request to the Township of North Huron Council, that's you, to collect groundwater samples from wells in the Township of North Huron to measure PFAS and other water chemistry parameters. So the main point that I'd like to make through this presentation is that, first of all, this request and what I'm talking about today is part of a research project aimed at developing a method to destroy PFAS in groundwater. All costs will be assumed by our group. We're not asking the Township of North Huron for any contributions by any monetary means. No site identifiers will ever be used or site information given. And at the same time, we are working on a research project. We are not providing a fully developed treatment system for the Township of North Huron. So I don't know how much you've actually heard or know about these chemicals that I'm going to be talking about today, per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. If you follow chemicals in the news, you may have seen them referred to as forever chemicals. And these are actually defined as it's a big group of man-made chemicals, and the actual PFAS definition refers to any substances that contain at least one carbon that is fully fluorinated. So what this means is that we have a vast number of compounds that make up this group. At the moment, estimated between 5,000 and 10,000 unique compounds. There could be more in the future. The reason that we are interested or concerned about PFAS is because they have these carbon-fluorine bonds. This is the strongest possible bond in chemistry. So what that means is that these compounds are actually very, very hard to destroy, and they don't readily degrade in the environment. And that's why they're called forever chemicals. So you see there's a couple of pictures there of the chemicals. Not a lot of people are interested in chemical structures like this, but it's just to show that we can have very small molecules all the way up to very large molecules. So PFAS is very prevalent. They are commonly used because they have some very desirable traits. Water and oil repellency is the feature that most consumers are familiar with, but they also have high chemical, physical, and thermal resistance to degradation, hence this forever chemical thing. And that actually makes them very useful in certain industrial processes. So as a consequence, and especially on the consumer side of things, they are found in many commercial products. You may be familiar with Teflon or nonstick frying pans. There's also textiles like Gore-Tex. And a big one that's really important and very useful is firefighting foams. And PFAS have been detected in many environmental samples, even at sites with no previous history of PFAS use and release. They're basically everywhere. And one of the things that's still a concern for PFAS is that we don't really have good ways of remediating them, especially at contaminated sites, so that especially at a scaled up level. And that's what we're interested in. So our research project, the objective of it is to determine whether our technology can be used to treat groundwater contaminated with PFAS. And when I say our technology, I'm referring to what we call a UV-S+I system, which I'm going to tell you more about in the next slide. The scope of the project is to select a minimum of 6 sites potentially impacted by PFAS, collect groundwater samples from ideally 4 wells from each site, and ideally at 2 times over a hydrologic year, and then analyze for a number of general chemistry parameters as well as some co-contaminants. And then treat the collected groundwater with our technology. And then, of course, because this is a research project, we want to communicate our findings to the scientific community. And this is through conferences, publications, and theses, so graduate student theses. But again, I want to stress and emphasize this would be done with no site identifiers. So to give some background on the UV-S+I system, this is basically a system that was developed in our lab by a couple of grad students that you see here. And we have also published it in, well, actually in a couple of journal articles, but this was the main one here. So the gist of the technology is that UV-S+I is a chemical reaction. So in this sense, it's very similar to when you treat water with chlorine. You chlorinate water to decontaminate it or to sterilize it. And so the chemicals that we use are called sulfite and iodide, and we react them in the presence of UV light. So again, this is similar to when you have like a UV treatment system for sterilizing water. And through these chemical reactions, we're actually able to destroy the PFAS. We don't just make it into smaller molecules, we actually destroy it so that we produce fluorine. We destroy all of those carbon-fluorine bonds. So this is just one of the examples from the paper that we published, and it shows that we're able to destroy even the most recalcitrant compound that people generally tend to study. It's called PFBS. There's some other treatment systems that are out there, but they have difficulty with this compound. And we were able to optimize our system and develop it in a lab environment so that we could get better than 99% destruction with it. We've also looked at some effects of other water parameters, and this is what leads us to want to look at groundwater and what else is in groundwater that could affect the destruction. So basically we have the effect of organic carbon and nitrate. These are things that can occur in groundwater, and they both have the effect of causing the destruction to not work as well. On the other hand, we can use something like sodium bicarb, which is baking soda, but you can also find carbonate in groundwater, and this enhances the degradation. However, so far, we've done this in the lab, and we want to be able to develop the technology for groundwater, and that's why we need real groundwater samples. So the plan that we're proposing is to collect groundwater samples from wells in the township of North Huron, ideally twice over 1 year, and then measure general water chemistry parameters, PFAS concentrations, and then other possible co-contaminants. So these are things like petroleum hydrocarbons, like say there was a fuel spill nearby, or metals. And then once we have characterized the other parameters, we then want to assess how well our technology works on the groundwater that we've collected. And again, as I said earlier, all costs that are involved here, both in our travel to collect the water, to actually collect the water, send it to a lab, do the analysis ourselves, and all of this testing will be assumed by our group, ESG. We are not asking for any funds. So the communications plan is that we would then provide the Township of North Huron with the water quality values for the wells, and also how well it works, how well the treatment system works. And then, as I said, overall, the results will be disseminated in the scientific community. And this project, as I said earlier, is strictly for research purposes. There will be no site identifiers and no contributors will be named. So what we are hoping to get out of this is that we will be able to get data that gives us better insight into the mechanisms and pathways of PFAS degradation. That helps us to improve the system and actually allow it to work. We also want to verify how well it works for groundwater specifically. And then ideally, we would like to design and implement someday a scaled up groundwater treatment system. Well, someday, that sounds like it's far in the future. In the near future, we would like to be able to do this. But as I said previously, we are not saying that we would produce a fully developed treatment system for the township of North Huron. And that basically concludes all the information that I wanted to relay. And I just want to thank you again very, very sincerely for letting me give this information to you and to make this request.
Well, thank you very much, Iris. Appreciate your presentation. So at this time, I'll just go to any council members. Would you like to ask any questions to Iris and Adrian? Go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
Yeah, hi Iris. So just clarifying, is this envisioned to be a groundwater remediation system, or potentially also could the technology be turned into a drinking water treatment system for groundwater contaminated with PFAS?
Yes, to both. So we start with groundwater. The concept of it being a drinking water treatment system, that is ideal. There's a number of different chemical parameters that we use, so we actually carry it at a very alkaline condition. So there's some things that would have to be treated in addition, to make sure that it is actually suitable for drinking water. But ideally, that is the kind of thing that we're aiming towards.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from anybody? Seeing none, I just thank you for your presentation, Iris. It was very beneficial, and we look forward to what you have before us.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, at this time, I need a motion. Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. I'd be happy to make a motion that we accept this offer of the military college and look forward to the results.
Thank you. I have a seconder.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve. Okay, go ahead and read it for us, Carson.
So your motion on the floor would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby approves the request from the Environmental Sciences Group at the Royal Military College of Canada to collect groundwater samples in the Township of North Huron to measure PFAS and other water chemistry parameters in the manner described in their December 2nd, 2024 delegation presentation.
Thank you. Got a mover, seconder, all in favor? Carried. Okay, at this time, we'll go to Gil Garrett and Rachel King of the Blythe Festival Update and Cooperative Marketing Budget. Go ahead, Gil and Rachel.
Thank you, Reeve. Good evening, Reeve and council and staff. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you all. I'm just going to give Rachel a second to pull up our PowerPoint, which I know you've all seen. Really, we're here with, it was just an incredible season for the Blythe Festival. I think some of you will have had a chance to dig into this extraordinary document that we provided, the economic impact study of the Blythe Festival that was done by PricewaterhouseCoopers. For those of you who, I imagine everyone is familiar with PricewaterhouseCoopers, but this is, of course, an internationally recognized accounting firm. They've done some incredible work over the years, and they turned their lens on the Blythe Festival right here in beautiful North Huron this year. So it was incredible. And to be able to actually look at this and see, I think it's on page 11, you can see the difficult couple of years there as attendance dipped down like this. And then now the rise to return after the pandemic and everything that the festival went through over the course of that time. And incredibly, what their findings revealed is that 2024, the 50th anniversary of the Blythe Festival, proved to be our largest GDP impact ever. So it's pretty incredible news to celebrate right in our own backyard. In addition to that celebration, as I noted here in our slides, we celebrated our 156th world premiere, which is pretty extraordinary in this little town that over 150 Canadian plays were conceived of, were developed, and then premiered in front of our own hometown audiences. It's just such an extraordinary achievement. So we have so much to celebrate this year, and over 25,000 patrons. We've got the number right there, 25,272 patrons who we welcome to North Huron. And one thing I think is really amazing to point out there, it's at the bottom of the slide, is actually that over 2,500 tickets were bought by folks who live right here in North Huron, which I think is pretty incredible. If you think about, how many people attend Roy Thompson Hall in Toronto, I mean, you don't have millions of tickets to Roy Thompson Hall bought by people who live in Toronto. So I think it's a pretty amazing thing that we've been able to achieve this world-class status and yet never lose that relationship with the hometown. We had guests from 9 provinces, 15 American states, and 380 towns, villages, and cities all over Ontario, which is just phenomenal. And I did point out here too, and I know that folks have had a chance to read these slides already, but I'm going to tout it anyway. We donated over $16,000 in tickets to 150 local charities and service groups that use them for their own fundraising events. So we don't have a figure on how much money was raised by those groups. So if they use those tickets in a raffle, they may have turned back way more than the ticket value. So it's a pretty amazing way that we can continually give back to all kinds of different service groups and charities in our region. Moving on, please, Rachel. So the economic impact study, I've already talked about it a little bit, but some of these amazing core findings, the last 6 seasons. So they looked at 2018 to 2024, and over the course of that time, $29 million in GDP impact. And I think right there at the bottom, you can see just the 2024 season alone, $8.1 million and economic impact. So that's visitor spending, that's taxes, that's just this amazing thing that happens just down the road from where all of you are sitting. We have created over 358 jobs over the course of that time, which is amazing. And really, I hope that the economic impact study in all of its tremendous detail can serve as a great tool for all of us, because I know that the township is continually in conversation with the province and with the feds on all kinds of development opportunities as we continue to look at how do we keep this community growing and thriving. I think that this document, and I would encourage each of you to take as much ownership of it as we have, you can use this to further the conversation in lots of places, right? This is something really unique and special that happens here in our home. Moving on, please, Rachel. Oh, yes. The 2025 season. So CKNX. So we have an incredible lineup. We've just announced it a few days ago. The season is going to actually have 5 productions. 4 will be indoors in Memorial Hall on the Margaret Stevens stage, the newly named Margaret Stevens stage. And outdoors on the Harvest stage, we'll have only 1 production out there, and it'll run all summer. It's going to be a pretty extraordinary piece as well. If you're noticing that I've said the word extraordinary many times, I have, because we are. Also, the final production of the season is going to be Radio Town, the Doc Cruikshank story. So this play has been written by a young man named Nathan Howe, wonderful young playwright. Some of you may have seen his work. He was part of Wing Night at the Boot, which was a wonderful play that we did a couple of years ago, actually a few years ago now. And he really fell in love with this region. He's been coming back and seeing shows for years now, and he wanted to write a play that he thought really honored such an important part of the story out here. So he bit into the Doc Cruikshank biography, and really the play, the way it's written, it starts right at Doc in the Lyceum Theater with his sons, trying to make his big decision of what he's going to do with the place and making the decision to sell CKNX. And it goes right back through his memory to the moment when he opened a Popular Mechanics magazine and read about how to build your own radio transmitter in his own garage, right through to CKNX, to building up Circle 8 Ranch, the whole thing. And it's going to be a wonderful tribute. I'm hugely looking forward to it. Moving on, please, Rachel. Oh, I should point out, though, we are going to run the season even longer next summer. So all the way till September 20th. So we've actually expanded the season to have 2 more full weeks of performances right into that early fall. So we're hoping that we can also get high schools in there to see the shows. We're hoping we can get, we're going to run it right across the Threshers, because we know lots of Threshers would want to come and see this celebration of Doc and his amazing legacy. Moving on. So how can we work together to promote tourism in North Huron? This is really why we're here. So many of you may know that we've long had something called the Cooperative Marketing Strategy. We've been working at this for about a decade. And we've done some pretty amazing things to keep promoting this region, all the amazing businesses, all the amazing opportunities that exist for folks here when they come to Blythe to see a show and get to spend time in North Huron. So we noted in the strategic plan, and I have to, if I had a big red pen, I would circle the second one there. Our goal is to be a vibrant and welcoming community that is proud of its roots, fosters volunteerism, has a strong arts and cultural presence, and supports community initiatives and special events. That could be the Blythe Festival unto itself right there. This is what we do. We are proud of our roots. We have a fleet of this past year, over 146 volunteers who helped us pull off the season. Just arts and culture, obviously. So we're here to help with these action items. Action item 14, action item 16, develop a system to provide visitor information to the community and develop a marketing strategy for North Huron. So if you could move forward, Rachel. I think it's time that we reinvest in the cooperative marketing strategy. Now, we've gone through a few years where the marketing strategy has gone from what was previously $15,000 a year. This past, we've now gone down to $5,000 a year. And I don't have, and nor will I put forward tonight, a specific number. But what I would urge council to consider is, I think it would be a great time for, I know that budgeting conversations are coming right up. I think it's a great time for staff from North Huron to sit down with the festival staff. We have some incredible, I'm going to say it again, extraordinary marketing staff who do a beautiful job bringing folks to our community. We have a huge following, you can see online, as well as all those folks who make the trip, many of them driving for hours, some of them flying into the province just to come. We have an opportunity, I think, to work together and for Blythe Festival to use its expertise and its reach to help the township reach its goals, to help the municipality reach its tourism and cultural promotion goals. So I'm really here to say, let's work together. Let's sit down, staff, your staff and our staff, and make some plans. And we can come back and propose something, I think, really amazing to just fly the banner high. We're so proud to be doing our work in North Huron. We're so proud to have the harvest stage. You know, this was a beautiful partnership. I know I'm at 10 minutes. I just set a timer because you all know I can talk. But we're just so proud, really, of of working and living in Blythe and working and living in North Huron. To us, it's where we've built our lives and where we have turned to for inspiration to put these plays on stage and tell this story. And we are career ambassadors, cultural ambassadors. That's what we do. And so we'd like to work together to keep building on this amazing thing that we started with the cooperative marketing strategy. That's my time.
Thank you very much, Gil and Rachel. Appreciate your presentation. Really, lots of insightful numbers there and whatnot. So at this time, I'm going to ask council, are there any comments that you'd like to make at this time? I know you will be getting a lot of people coming down with that Crookshank play that you're doing there. I know that's going to go over very, very well. And how strong the family is behind it, different things they have left, like the park up here and whatnot. It's going to go over really, really well. I know that. Deputy Reeve, please.
Thank you. I'd like to then put forward a motion to invite or instruct staff to investigate the possibilities that Gil has provided, that he's told us about with partnering with the township to promote ourselves.
Okay, go ahead, Clerk Lamb.
So I have something similar drafted. The only thing I have is just to make sure that loop makes its way back to council, is to report back to council as part of the 2025 budget process. But basically your motion would be that the council of the Township of North Huron hereby directs the economic development officer to meet with representatives of the Blythe Festival on opportunities to partner with the cooperative marketing budget and initiatives, and to report back to council as part of the 2025 budget process. So,
Yes, I'll stand on the motion.
Okay, seconder, Councillor Van Hitterson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, Gil. Appreciate that. And Rachel, thank you. Thank you
Thank
for all
you.
your updates, Rachel, that you send us. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll go to 6.1.1, CL 2024-16, Appointment of Committee of Adjustment for 2025. Are there any questions for CAO Lamb at this time? Well, it's pretty well straightforward. So may I have a mover? Councillor Van Hitterson, seconder. Councillor McBurney. No questions? All in favor? Carried. We're down to Public Works, 2024-37, Agricultural Land Lease Tender Results. May I have a mover? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Deputy Reeve. At this time, are there any questions for our Director McAllister? We appreciate this getting sent out and back to us in good time. All in favor? Carried. At this time, we go to 6.5.1, FR 2024-10, updates to the 2025 North Huron Fire Department compensation rates. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, seconder. Councillor Van Hitterson. Okay, at this time, are there any questions for Chief Crager? Oh, pretty well straightforward. Go ahead, Councillor Van Hitterson, please.
Yeah, I think, well, it's in the report as well. I think that those rates haven't been updated in a couple of years, and they are now comparable with other municipalities and other cities around us. That was the point, to make it a little bit more attractive and equal among all the firefighters in the region.
Through you, Reeve, ever. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. No other questions for Mr. Crager? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. 6.6.1, CS 2024-19, Blythe Community Betterment Committee. Request to hold Blythe New Year's Eve fireworks display. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, Councillor McBurney. Are there any questions at this time for Denise? No. Okay. The only question I had earlier, and our coordinator got back to me and said that they have somebody lined up for looking after the skating at between 7 and 8, which is really great. And so no questions. All in favor? Carried. CS 2024-20 North Huron Westcast Community Complex Concert Rentals Request. May I have a mover? Oh, we need an option to go with this. Council Wright, would you have an option for us?
Just bringing it up so I can remind myself of
Sorry.
the options, but I do actually make a motion that we select option 2 and direct staff to enter into a rental contract. My thoughts on that are that generally, I think out there in the industry, either you're seen as a municipality that's willing to be flexible and work with promoters to try to put on these kinds of events, or you're not really interested in that. So although this one is a little bit of an inconvenience, you know, it could lead to summertime rentals and other things, right, that could come and benefit the both the rental income to North Huron and plus the economic spinoff. So
Yep.
Option 2 would be my preferred option.
Option 2, so I'll ask seconder, Deputy Reeve. Okay, could you read? Oh, sorry, question though. Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Money's lost or maybe repairing the ice or what the days that we can't operate.
Right.
Go ahead with that and see.
Yeah, through your worship, as part of the striking a rental contract, staff will request the compensation for lost revenues for any additional days should the ice need significant repair.
Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Carried. 7, correspondence, seeing none. 8, council reports. I'd just like to take this time and thank the Wingham Lions for putting on that parade on Saturday. It was great. Different ones going up when Councillor Wright and I were handing out candy, how they appreciated how they liked the parade, how good it was. Like, I think only about 3 floats couldn't make it. So it was over 30 floats making it. And because of the weather, a couple couldn't make it. So it was really good. People went through. And again, kudos out to the firemen. They had a great time for the kids with Santa up at the fire hall and hot chocolate and cookies. It was just great seeing the community coming together. And I don't know how that marching band can go so fast up the street. I was running, it seemed, and I don't know. I had a sore back the next day, I'll tell you that. But it was really good seeing that. And I'd just like to take this time to thank past warden Glenn McNeil for the 4 years that he was warden of the County of Huron, and the new warden is from the municipality beside us, and Jamie Heffer, and we just look forward to strive to work together, and I think it'll work out really well for us, and great starting off for us. It's going to be for 2 more years. His term will be there. Okay, at this time, council member, board, or committee reports? None. Comments by members? Oh, quiet time then, okay. Notice of motions. Are there any notice of motions? Seeing none. Bylaw, 9.1 bylaw number 90, 2024-2025 fees and charges bylaw. May I have a mover? Councillor Wright, Councillor Palmer, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 91, 2024, adoption of community risk assessment. May I have a mover? Councillor Deputy Reeve Faulkner, Councillor Van Hitterson, all in favor? Carried. Our next meeting, regular council meeting, will be held on Monday, December 16th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the North Huron Council Chambers. And the next BIA board meeting will be held on Thursday, December 18th, 2024 at 6:30 at the Hot Stove Lounge at the North Huron Westcast Community Complex. And the next Blythe BIA Board meeting will be held on Thursday, January 30th, 2025 at 8 a.m. at the first floor meeting room at the Blythe and District Community Center. Are there any other announcements? Seeing none. Other business, none. This time we go to number 12, closed session and reporting out that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby proceeds at 6:40 p.m. to in-camera session, closed to the public under section 239, 2K, B, I, D, and F of the Municipal Act to discuss the following: a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. Thresher's Operation Service Agreement negotiations. Theater operations. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee. Thirdly, trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to be prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere with significantly with our contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organization. Integrity Commissioner, closed meeting, investigator, and municipal ombudsman's proposals. Fourthly, labor relations or employee negotiations, interim CAO, temporary arrangement agreement. And fifthly, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for the purpose solicitor advice. And further, that the interim CAO and Director of Legislative Services / clerk with items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the Community Engagement Coordinator, item 1, and the Human Resource Health and Safety Coordinator, item 2, remain in attendance. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, Councillor McBurney, all in favor? Carried. Yeah, go ahead.